Hi there, this is Nancy Pezu. I'm the lead consultant at Pezu Smith Consulting, and today I'll be taking a very interesting topic. But before we dive into the topic, I would like you to meet me if you've never met me. I'm Nancy Pezu, the lead consultant at Pezu Smith Consulting, and I'm the author of 3 amazing books: Effective Boarding House Administration, which was my last book published in December 2021. The School Administrator's Companion, my second book published in May 2021, and Dear Educator, my first and most popular book, which was published in May 2019. Incidentally, I've run out of the copies I brought to Abuja, but I have quite a number left in Calabar, Port Harcourt, and Lagos. So you might want to reach out to me to get your copies. Well, one of the things that Pezu Smith Consulting does is to recruit the right candidates for schools and other organizations. And in the course of doing this, I have met so many horrible CVs, and I do not want to make light of it or just ignore it. It has come to a level where I need to address it, and I thought to do a video to teach you on how to have a CV upgrade. And please do not be offended if you're one of those that had to give feedback about your CV. That was unsolicited advice, but I couldn't help it. There were some CVs I saw, especially from those applying for school administration and top management positions in schools, like the operational manager, guidance counselor, all the management positions. I just couldn't understand why somebody would be looking for a job as a manager and couldn't as much as put out a good CV. It just didn't look nice or befitting for such positions. And so to help you, like I always will, I decided to put this video out here. And so what you're going to do that will make me happy is to subscribe to this channel, share the video to get to as many people as possible, and make comments on it. I will really, really appreciate that. It takes me quite some time. I'm a busy person, but in between, I just take out time from my busy schedule to do videos. And I do not charge for these videos. So please get my books, subscribe to my channel, and also enroll to be a participant in my upcoming cohort of the Connected School Administrators Academy. And that is where I teach in depth on school and school administration and management. And if you watched any of my videos on YouTube, you've liked it, then you will know that those are free videos. So you can imagine what you'll be getting in the academy. And the academy runs for three months, 12 weeks, and we hold lectures for 1.5 hours once a week on a date agreed by all of the participants. And then you also have a one-on-one coaching session with me once a month. So you get to have 3 one-on-one coaching sessions with me in the course of the program. In addition, you have a WhatsApp group where we have engaging conversations about the topics, and you get to ask questions. And guess what? You have access to me for the whole of the 3 months. You can call me, you can send a message, I will respond. Thank you so much to everyone who's already been through the cohort and who's willing to share their testimonials of what they have learned in this academy. So the registration is on for the 3rd cohort of Connected School Administrators Academy COSA. Please join and do tell others about it. So we're diving to the topic now, and I'm going to start sharing my screen right away to do what I love to do. Okay, so we're here now. I hope you can see the screen. If you can see the screen, say yes. And right away, let's go. So we're here. Oh, okay. So we're here. All right. So the topic is CV and resume upgrade. CV, I'm sure you know what a CV is, curriculum vitae, and curriculum vitae. Is it vitae or vitae? Do you know, I'm not even sure of that pronunciation. We've called it CV for so long that I'm used to it. I'll need to check that up in the dictionary once I'm done. once I'm done with this. Okay, so I'm Nancy Ekpezu, and you can check my website, www.nancyekpezu.com. It has the link to basically every other thing that you need to know about me. I'm a chartered administrator, a management consultant, and a certified life coach from the Larry Olushola Coaching Academy. I'm the lead consultant at Pezu Smith Educational Services. And like I said earlier, I'm the author of 3 amazing books, Dear Educator, The School Administrator's Companion, and Effective Boarding House Administration. That's it here. Okay, I'm also a recruiter for schools and other organizations. I'm the founder of the Connected School Administrators Academy, which is an online academy that coaches and mentors school administrators and school owners, school managers, heads of schools, anybody in a managerial or administrative position, or someone who is preparing for such position. And I like to say this part, I am a TEDx speaker. Yeah, I like that bit a lot. Okay, so let's dive in now. So at the end of this session, we'll know what recruiters and employers are looking for in a CV, and how to tailor your CV to get an interview for the job that you seek, and what to avoid when you are creating your CV. What is a CV, by the way? What is a CV? A CV is a very in-depth document that describes your career journey step by step, including all sorts of relevant personal information. Take note of that word, relevant. Some people just spill all kinds of information on their CV in a bit to make it look bulky. So, they think the bulkier it is, the more professional or qualified they are, which is very far from the truth. So you can look at the CVs as a comprehensive description of everything you have ever done, all the achievements you are proud of, and all the publications that bear your name. What is a CV? A CV is a chief marketing tool in getting you an interview for the job you want. I'll share an experience with you. My first school administration and leadership position came because of the kind of CV that I had. I was in Kano then, teaching I had been a teacher for about 10 years, and I wanted to leave Kano. There was a lot of pressure from my family way back in Calabar then to leave Kano and come and join my family in Calabar. And so I reluctantly sent out my CV. I had fallen in love with a church where I was involved in, so I was very reluctant to leave the city. And so I just reluctantly sent out my CV to a school, and I was called to come in for an interview. Guess what? I attended the interview for the post of a biology teacher because I had taught basic science and biology over the years in my 10-year career as a teacher then. And so the owner of the school looks at me after the interview and says, there's something about you and the way your CV is packaged, you pay attention to detail, and I see that you stated in your CV that you're able to motivate staff to work. And I said yes, because I had been a head of department of the head of the science department, even though I was still teaching. And based on that, she said to me, you know what? A lot of the people who applied for the position of the head of school didn't make it, even though some had a master's degree in education. I see that you do not have a master's degree in education. You have a postgraduate diploma in management. But we would like to take a chance on you because we love the way that you package your CV and the way you answered questions at the interview. Guess what the first impression was that got me the interview for that head of school? My CV. Even though I had been a head of science department for just, I think, 2 years, I was able to craft into my CV the experience I gathered as a head of department. And because of the skills I said I had from being a head of department, that was how I got into being a head of a school. And that was my first school administration position, actually. Okay. So your CV is a chief marketing tool in getting you an interview for the job that you want. It does not mean automatically that you'll get the job, but imagine that there are 100 CVs and we need to interview just 10 people or 5. So that is your CV that is going to tell the recruiter whether you should even be interviewed in the first place. It means even if you're qualified and you have a lot to give the organization, so long you're not able to articulate this in your CV, then you don't even get a chance as an interview. What is a resume? Now, I think sometimes it's a matter of semantics. Some people have asked me, what's a resume, what's a CV? It's not about what a CV is or what a resume is. The important thing is to know what to do, okay? A resume is a short, straight to the point document created for the purpose of applying to a specific job. So you can see that it's not too different from a CV, right? It's a matter of semantics because they both play the same thing, the same role, which is to market you to be able to get an interview. So don't spend all your time studying the history of resume, history of a CV, the differences between a resume and a CV, and then you forget to do the right thing, which is just to market yourself. Just remember that both are marketing tools to help you get a job. And the moment you remember this, makes it easier for you. You can now tailor it to suit the job that you're looking for. So a resume is a one-page summary of your work experience and background relevant to the job you are applying for. I'm taking time to explain all this because it's important that you know. In case you're wondering about the difference between a CV and resume, like I've said earlier, don't spend all your energy on that. Get into the details of what to do to get the attention of the recruiter. So the term CV is more commonly used in the UK, while resume is more used in the United States. Generally, resumes are usually a page, while CVs are a page or 2, 3, or more, depending on how much information you want to give out. So let's get to this now. Why is your CV important to a recruiter or an employer? Firstly, it tells your prospective employer why you are a good fit for the job and the organization. It's also a screening tool or device. I recruit for organizations, and sometimes I do not have the patience to rummage through all of the CVs that come. I'll give you an example. I recruited for a school in Abuja, and it was a top school, and we needed just one person to be the operations manager, the head of operations, who was going to be reporting to the board of directors. Do you know how many CVs we got for just that position? Do you want to guess? 58 for one position. Now tell me, if you're a recruiter, are you going to invite all 58 people for to attend an interview? Definitely not. You're going to choose the ones who look like it. And guess what? You may actually be a right or better candidate than those people who look like it. But guess what? You'll be screened out if your CV doesn't look like it. You want to say that's unfair? Reality. That's just how it works. So it's a screening tool or device. It provides educational and job history of applicants. It gives a track record of your job performance on your previous jobs. It gives a summary of your work experience. It gives information to screen out unqualified candidates. And then it's also a tool for interviewing if the candidate is shortlisted. I'm sure you've been at interviews where the panel had to look at your interview and ask questions from it. Oh, okay, we see that you were at XYZ company for 2 years. Could you tell us what you achieved there? They're looking at your CV and asking you questions from it, meaning that it's also a tool for interviewing. It's a document for personnel record if the candidate is offered the job. It's one of the records that are put in your personnel file when you eventually get a job, okay? It's also a promise of your professionalism. So if you like, go and put typos there. Let the one line be going up and one coming down and all kinds of grammatical errors. That's on you. Understanding the recruiter and your CV. This is the reality. The recruiter is looking out, gets lots of CVs. So make yours to stand out. There's also a time factor. Screening takes time. So recruiters do not spend too much time on one CV. A scan of about 10 seconds is enough to disregard a CV. And that's reality. They're talking from a recruiter's point of view now. And I do it too. In fact, there was once I actually almost missed out a candidate who ended up being the best because she used very faint ink for her her job, her CV, and the area, the experience I needed to be highlighted was put in a very small corner. If not that I'm someone who has an eye for details, I would have missed that CV. In fact, I got it on a second screening when I said, oh, after all of this screening, couldn't I just get someone who was better? Okay, let me just go back and check. If I hadn't done that second screening, that lady would not have got the job. And it ended up being a well-paying job. She would have missed it. Did she have the experience? Absolutely. Was she qualified? Very much. Did her CV look like it at a first glance? It didn't. Why did I give her a chance? Because there were a lot of crappy CVs. And I said, well, let me go back and check. There must be some points I have missed. How can this number of CV not have a good candidate? And that was how I spotted her out. But what if I received more CVs that day? She would not have stood a chance, but she ended up being excellent on the job. Okay, so time factor is important. If you consider that recruiters do not have all the time in the world to start looking at your CV and making corrections and telling you correct this, send it back to me, but there's no such time. And let me tell you, when recruiters get a contract, there's a time frame to deliver. And so they want to deliver to their clients on time, and that doesn't give them enough time to start correcting you and telling you, go back, do your CV. They might do that if they aren't enough candidates for a position. Okay. Visual input is usually employed in screening. First impressions count a great deal. Remember that. The relevance. This makes or breaks your chances of getting hired. Tailoring your CV to the job requirements. And not just a generic one you send to every recruiter. There's some people who will even forward a CV and a letter of application they had sent to another organization or another school. They will forward and re-forward, and you're wondering, what is this? Sometimes it's even addressed to a particular organization, they will forward it again. And I'm wondering, how do you even put yourself out that way? You can do better, okay? Now, this is what your CV or resume does for you. It helps you to get an interview. It introduces yourself to your prospective employer with the hope that you will get the job. And it gets you considered for a job. Your CV or resume makes a first impression on a recruiter or potential employer and should be taken seriously. When you remember that the first impression matters, you will take it seriously to put together a good CV. Now let's look at the structure of a CV. What are the parts that make up a CV? In other words, what should you include and in what order, and what should you not even include? Number one, your name and contact details. Your name and your contact details. At the top of your CV, write boldly your name and your surname. Under this, you should have your email address, your phone number, and you may include the city you reside in, but you do not need to put your physical address or your post office number. That's not necessary. Your name, written boldly with your name and surname. Under that, have your email address, your phone number. If you need to put your Skype number, if the interview is going to be via Skype, you might want to put that. That's fine. Then after that, have your personal profile. Oh, dear, I think I missed out putting the CVs. I should have actually checked to see how I can have one or two shown. Maybe let me just finish with the slides. I'm sure I'll be able to show you some samples, okay? So your personal profile, create a personal profile that tells your suitability for the job you're applying for. It should be in the first person pronoun and in short, complete but concise sentences that market you as the right candidate. Say what you're bringing on board. Some of you will say, well, make a contribution to your organization. Before, were you coming there to not make a contribution? You have to be specific to tailor it to your suitability for that job you're applying for. And I'm going to show you by the time I pick one or two CVs to have a look at. It should be in the first person pronoun and in short, complete, but concise sentences that market you as the right candidate. About 2-3 sentences are enough, max 4. So say what you're bringing on board in small, short, whatever, a 21st century school administrator who is able to form good working relationships with a large range of people, fits into a multicultural environment, and has developed maybe strong leadership, budgeting, marketing, whatever skills it is that you want to highlight. Instead of saying to make meaningful contribution to your organization, that's so vague and so generic. And you see that on almost every CV. And please don't go and leave somebody's personal profile from the internet without tweaking it to suit the job purpose and yourself. Don't be describing someone else, or you should be describing yourself, okay? The skills. After that, remember we've talked about your name, your email address, phone number, the city you reside in. You don't need to put your house address. After that, what you do, your personal profile. Then the third area is your skills. Very importantly, tailor the skills to the ones required for the job. Focus on the hard skills. If it's a job for a school accountant or an accountant in any other firm, talk about your strong financial budgeting skills, your ability to advise an organization to save costs, forecasting, every skill that you need. If you're a teacher, talk about what you can do, 21st century teaching, hands-on application knowledge, okay, developing children's critical skills, your style of teaching. If you're a school administrator, talk about your leadership style, the skills you've acquired. What are the skills a school administrator needs? A school administrator definitely needs people skills, okay, managerial skills, needs strong planning skills, supervising, okay, supervisory skills. Yes, financial skills are also required, planning, budgeting. So make sure that you go straight to the skills that you need. Use bullet points for the skills. You may then include soft skills such as interpersonal skills, communication, and all of that. And the truth is, don't start with the people skills, because your technical skills are very important, and it's assumed that you should have these soft skills to be able to function on those positions. So start with the technical skills, and then you can now include the soft skills that you have. Use reverse chronological order. The next thing you'd want to use now, you remember your name and address, a little email address, little things. Number 2, personal profile. Number 3, your skills. Number 4, now your work experience. Use reverse chronological order. If you don't know what chronological order means, in the sequence in which it happened. So instead of saying what happened in 1990, start from 2022 and be going reverse. That's what we mean by reverse chronological order. So instead of going from 1990 to 91, 92, like that, no, start from this year that you're applying, what exactly you do now, because that's the most relevant. It's assumed that you've developed yourself to that level. Then you now be going down. If you did that job from 2020 to 2022, stated from maybe 20 whatever to 2020 that you did. That's how you go. Normally use the first 3 or 4, the last 3 or 4 jobs that you have done. If you've worked in 10 places, you don't need to list them all there and fill up your entire CV, okay? If you have had several jobs, focus on the last 3 jobs in details. Mention the rest in bullet points. State the year you started and ended each position, the duration, the job title, and the name of the organization. And if possible, where it is. Is it in the United States? Is it in Lagos, Nigeria? Is it in Abuja, Nigeria? Is it in Accra, Ghana? State this. State your achievements, not your job responsibilities. Some people will go and copy their job description on the CV and fill it all up. Those were the things the organization asked you to do. But what did you do? That's what we're interested in. What did you achieve? So don't come and tell us all the responsibilities that were due to your position. There's a way to state your responsibilities, but focus on what you achieved in those responsibilities. So state your achievements, state your achievements and not your job responsibilities. Be specific about the achievements and if possible, quantify them. For example, on my last job, I was able to save the organization 15 million naira from the decisions I took as a school administrator in recruitment, in setting up processes that saved costs in the past 2 years, whatever. Or I was able to create policies and procedures that led to efficiency in the organization and saved us costs to this amount. Or I was able to save costs in recruitment to the tune of 5 million in 1 year, whatever. So you need to be very specific and quantify your achievements if possible. Then the next thing is number 5, your qualifications. State your educational qualifications. Again, use reverse chronological order. So don't start with your primary school. If you have a PhD, start with that and then be going down. If you have a master's degree, start with the highest level of your qualification and then be going down. That's what we call reverse chronological order. Start with your most recent qualifications. Please leave out primary school and secondary school if possible, unless you're applying for a civil service job. They will ask you even the primary school you went to. For such jobs, you need to state that. And they usually have their templates for their CVs. They will tell you to list all of these things in their own, in the way they want it, okay? If you're a recent graduate, you may go into a bit more details, okay? Additional information, use this opportunity to toot your horn. Include anything you think will give you the advantage or the edge to get an interview. List your professional memberships. Are you a member of the Chartered Institute of Accountants? Okay, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Are you a member of the Chartered, Institute of Administrators? Are you a member of the Management Institute of Nigeria? Are you a member of the Coaches and Life Coaches Association of Nigeria? Whatever. Make sure you state them. What are the courses you have attended? Relevant courses to that position. So if you're applying for the position of school administrator, for example, don't tell us that you went to do one course that is totally unrelated to it, okay? Or if you know how to coin it in a way to say that it's relevant to you because you found out some teachers were not taking this seriously in your last job, you decided to train so that you can retrain them. But make sure it's done in a way that you can market yourself, okay? All right, so, it's a bit sunny where I am. Let me see, okay, it's better here now. All right, so use this opportunity to toot your horn. Check out courses you've attended, awards that you have, that you've got. Have you been able to receive any awards? Did they give you an award as, for example, I got an award as Inspirational Woman of the Year, okay? It's a Most Inspiring Woman Award, things like that. Toot your horn. And what about recognitions? Have you been able to receive recognition? Stay there. Events where you spoke at, if needed, if this is needed, depending on the type of job you're applying for. So if you're applying to be a trainer in an organization, you should be able to state where and where you have spoken. That's a plus, okay? Where and where have you spoken? Okay. Then your hobbies and interests. This is actually optional. Only include it if it to be relevant or give a good impression. For example, if you're applying for a writing job, it would be nice to state your publications. Maybe you could say that you write for a hobby, or you're involved with one newsletter, or you're contributing a writer to maybe one blog or something. That would be a good. So if you say that blogging is your hobby and that's your area of interest, that's fine. You could state that you volunteer for courses that actually are related to this job that you're applying for, okay? Then the referees is optional and you may be given on request. If you want to state the referees, that's fine. If the job insists that you do, then go ahead and do it. If it doesn't, it's optional, okay? Nobody's going to penalize you for not stating your referees on your CV if you're able to state all of the other qualities and all these other things I've mentioned, okay? Here are some tips you need to know about preparing a great CV, what to do and what to avoid. Keep it real and short, okay? And do not lie. 1 to 3 pages are okay. Do not make CVs that are 4, 5, 6, 7 pages and it's so bulky. Let me tell you a secret. A lot of recruiters don't have the time to look at that, unless maybe you're applying for a job that the qualification is that everybody must have a doctorate degree and show their publications and show everything about their career history and what they've achieved. That might be fine. For executives or boards, more than that, those number of pages are fine. Okay. For such jobs, you might see only 3, 4 people applying. Okay, but for jobs where you are sure that you're going to have up to 50 people applying, please keep it real, keep it short. And if they have specified that they do not want more than 2 pages for the CV, some recruiters do that. Please make sure that you keep to it, because it might actually not be humans who are doing the sieving or selection. It might be automated. And if it's more than that, if it doesn't just fit the template that the system has been asked to sieve, then you just be ignored, okay? Tailor it to the job. Don't send the same CV to every employer or job opening. Research the organization and study the job advert and requirements carefully before you craft your CV. So if you're applying for a front desk officer and then you see another job for a teaching position, don't go and carry the same one and send. Sometimes you might actually be multi-skilled for certain jobs and you can juggle through them, but you should have separate CVs for each of these. And even from the same job, there's a way to bring out the skills that you have in a way that will catch the recruiter's attention, okay? Include a personal statement. I mentioned that is very important. And don't go and lift up someone else's personal statement from the CV and from the internet and just use like that without tweaking it to suit you. You should be describing it should be your personal statement. There's a reason it's called personal statement. It describes you and the skills you're bringing on board. Do not send an outdated CV. If the CV was created 5 years ago and you've acquired more qualifications, more skills, you're now more experienced, don't shoot yourself in the leg and go and send the one that was created 5 years ago. I've seen people apply for jobs and then they will now email me, oh, sorry, that CV for 3 years now, I've not updated it, so please pardon me. Why, or they come to ask me why they were not in the short list for the interview. I tell them, well, your CV didn't look like it. And I get to know that they had acquired more skills that they could have put on that CV, but they didn't do it. I wouldn't do that for you, would I? Or any other recruiter. Okay, update it. Keep a record of all important events and happenings in your career or job. Let me share a tip with you. Go to Google Doc and just have a document called Career Update on my career or job. Any achievement, any important happening, just be entering them there. And when it's time to make your CV, you extract these things, you pick them there and create a good CV. But if you have to be thinking, oh, what year did I start that job? Oh, when was this? Oh, when was that? You just keep going round and round. The reason I'm saying Google Doc or any other, documents that has an online base is because you can actually look for it anytime, okay? You won't say it was in my diary and it got burnt or it's stolen or something, Explain the gaps nicely. If you're out of job for a while, find a way to fill the gap without lying. For example, you could be attending a course, or maybe you took time to have your kids, but in the course of running your home, there were still some skills you learned, or you were volunteering online or doing some things while you were there. Explain those gaps nicely and be able to say what you were doing during that period. Check for errors. Typos and poor grammar give off a very poor impression and smack of a lack of attention to detail, which is needed by a lot of employers. So if there are so many errors, okay, the S is missing, the T is missing, the E is missing, and it's all jumbled up, and the entire CV doesn't even make sense anymore, then be sure that you will create a very poor impression. And that is not what you're looking for, is it? Brag about your specific achievements, not your job role. So instead of saying I was a school administrator heading over 100 people, when you've said that, that's fine. It gives the impression that you've led a big team. But what did you achieve on that position? Talk about your achievements. Okay, what did you achieve? What are your milestones? Make it look good. The format, the font, the type, a font type, the size, and the color are important. If you're an art person, make it look really artistic, make it look fine, let the aesthetics be really appealing. Make it visually appealing, but avoid fancy colors and fonts, as this may appear unprofessional. Some people go and find the best, the craziest border, and then design it, use colors, and everything is just, rioting and looking so not appealing. Please, in a bit to make it appealing, don't end up putting people off your CV. Black is fine, navy blue is fine, but I think black and white is really good, okay? So don't have too many colors everywhere. Save your CV with your full name. For example, Nancy Ekwezu, school administrator. Instead of updated version, number 2, Nancy Ekwezu CV. Benga Yefeso, marine engineer, not my CV 1, my CV 2, updated CV. Sometimes we see CVs that have no names. All we see is updated CV, my current CV, the CV I saved without my name, my CV 2, my CV 3, my CV for marine engineer, my CV for computer engineer. What does that mean? Are you now saying that the recruiter will now start helping you to say, to rename your file and tidy it up? I don't think any recruiter has that much time. If they do, maybe they're not really getting jobs, or they've not been able to get a right candidate and they're just being nice. So mind your email. Use an email with your name, preferably in a responsible manner. If your name is a common one, you might want to add a letter, a number to it or something, or your year of birth or something, Use the right email heading when sending your CV to a recruiter. Apart from using your right email, also use a right email heading. Sometimes I get CVs that have no heading at all. They will just send it and then say, please, I need a job as an administrator. What is that? So avoid emails such as sexybabe@smn.com, coolbobo@yahoo.com, chillingwiththeboys@gmail.com. What does all this mean? I am the right bobo at yahoo.com. Hey, please use your mail. If your name is Ewuru Jakpo or Verge, write your name in full and put at gmail.com. Okay? All these funny emails will send out a very unserious vibe about you. Okay? And these things you're seeing, I didn't make them up. These are actually some CVs I have seen. And some emails I have seen. Sexybabe@yahoo.com, sexybabe@gmail.com, chillingwiththeboys@gmail.com, coolbobo@yahoo.com. Please avoid this kind of funny emails. Let your email appear professional. And if you have a website, use your domain email, okay? Appear responsible every step of the way. I don't think I want to offer a school administrator job to somebody who says her email is sexybabe@msn.com or coolbobo@yahoo.com, chillingwiththeboys@gmail.com. What is that? Hey. Choose the right format and layout. You can choose format from the internet. There are so many CV builders, builders all over the internet. Some are free, some are paid for, some are just templates that are there, and you can just impute your own and then convert it to PDF and blah, you download, it's yours. Okay, Microsoft Word has even the latest Microsoft Word has CV formats that can be adapted for your use. Okay, I'm going to check all those stuff. You can choose CV building sites also. They are free, and then there are some paid versions. Just Google CV builders or CV templates. Lots of them will come up. Okay. You can have a skill-based format for career change. You can also use a combined format of chronological and skill-based. Use MS Word or Google Doc, and then you can convert it to PDF. The reason for that is your MS Word version may be different from that of the recruiter, and by the time they download it, if they're doing it manually, it might just scatter and look so different. So the safest one is to convert it to a PDF. That way it just stays, okay, and it can be read properly. Have your name in bold at the top. Do not write curriculum vitae at the top. Rather, write your name. You want them to remember your name. That is the aim. Focus on competencies desired by the employers, okay? Use effective action words. Make it concise. You don't need to write your entire history since you were born. What happened? No, please. Customize your CV or resume. Okay, it should be rewritten or tweaked for every job application to suit the purpose intended. Research your industry and the job type. Use the industry-specific skills. Avoid cliche terms. I'm a responsible 21st century worker. Finish. What is that? I'm looking for an opportunity to make my contribution to the growth of your organization. Before, were you coming to the market or not contribute to the organization? Use keywords in your CV to avoid to aid artificial intelligence to select you. If some keywords have been given for the adverts, please use them in your CV. Check the keywords in your industry or sector, okay, so that you use them and hopefully you have them. Avoid doing this. Some people just start listing date of birth, marital status, number of children, state of origin, local government area, city of birth, height, complexion, temperament, personality. If you need to include your photograph, make sure that it's a good one. It's tidy and neat, and it's just maybe a headshot, and you look really good, well dressed, probably with a smile, a welcoming smile, and that is it. Okay. In some cases, you might not need to have your photograph. In some cases, you may. It helps sometimes when you see imagine what the person looks like, and you want to now see them at the interview, especially if they're well dressed and looking very professional for the role. So thank you. Let me see if I can check some CVs. Oh, I cannot minimize because I'm recording. Wow, that's so sad. I wanted to show you some CVs that could help. But I know these are things you can easily check up online, so I don't think that's a big problem. Okay, CV templates. Let me just see how it looks. So I hope this has been useful, and I hope that I will stop. If you have watched this, I will stop seeing all those funny CVs that some of you have been sending to me. So let me just see which CVs I can have a look at to use as samples to show you, okay? Just use the samples to show you. Okay, so let me see if I can just, okay. Let me see that, I hope you can see this. Okay, I hope so. Is it really showing? Oh, not sure if it's showing. Oh, okay, I have to stop sharing. Honestly, I'm not sure this is showing. Oh, well, I might have to stop here. Okay, I'm screen sharing. Well, I hope it's showing. I just pray. Okay, so you can see this person. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I might just have to stop. I don't know if it's really showing because sometimes that behaves funny if you have not put that out before starting the presentation. So you can use poster my wall, poster my wall to create this. You can see this is somebody's CV. I wish I could increase this. Let me see. Anyway, you can see that's someone's picture and then the profile. Incidentally, I cannot even read the profile. That's what I'm wondering if it's showing. Well, let me stop here and stop sharing. It looks like it's not really showing, but I hope you've been able to get what I mean. Now I give you an assignment, get on the internet, check out different different templates for CVs, and then tweak one or two really great ones. I was trying to show that, but I don't know if it was really showing on the screen. So I wish you the best, and please put out your best foot, okay, on the next application that you have. And if you need further coaching on this, or you need me to build your CV or have a look at what you already have for a fee, I'll be glad to arrange a Zoom session where you have one-on-one coaching with me. I coach, I'm a certified life coach, and I also help people get clarity on their jobs and also help them, put themselves out there in their career in a way that they get noticed. So thank you so much, and see you in the next video. And I wish you the best at your next interview. Okay, bye-bye.